students. Today we have Math Lesson 113, May 12th, 2020. All right, today we are learning about writing mixed numbers as improper fractions. All right, we know how to make improper fractions into mixed numbers. Now we are learning how to make mixed numbers into improper fractions. So I want to just point out a couple of things before we get started. Right here, it says, if the numerator of a fraction is greater than or equal to its denominator, the fraction is an improper fraction. So, for example, 3/3 is 1 whole, right? And 5/3, these are both improper fractions. All right, so here we go. The picture shows 1½ circles, shaded circles, right? So we think about how many halves are shaded. So we have 2 circles, we have 1, 2, 3 halves are shaded, and that is how we get our improper fractions. So we're taking our mixed number, 1½ we're turning it into 3 halves. All right, down here we look and we have converted our improper fractions to mixed numbers by dividing, correct? Well, now we need to go and do the opposite operation, right? So we will use multiplication to change our mixed numbers into improper fractions. We use multiplication and addition, but I want to show you. So here we have 2 1/4 circles, are shaded in circles, right? Here we divided these both into fourths so that we could figure out how many fourths we have in 2 1/4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there we go. I have 9 fourths. That is how I get my improper fraction back, okay? I can do it that way by creating the model. So a mixed number represents the sum of a whole number and a fraction. For example, 2½ represents 2 plus 1/2. All right, next page. Here we go. On this page, we're looking at our example 1. So we are going to name the number of shaded circles as an improper fraction and as a mixed number. So as you can see, I have 2½ circles. Now, to show the improper fraction, we double the whole circles, or we divide the whole circles into half, right? We divide them into halves. So here we go. And now I need to count how many halves do I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. So here we go, we have 5½ So to show the improper fraction, we divide the whole circles into the same number of pieces, which would be halves, right? And the improper fraction is 5 halves. The mixed number is 2½ Our next example is we're going to change 2 1/3 into an improper fraction. So here we go. We have 2 wholes and 1/3. Well, the 2 wholes are divided into 3/3, right? So here we have 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 1/3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7/3. So I added my 3/3 plus my 3/3 plus my 1, and I got 7/3. That is how we made our improper fraction. Now, it is not necessary to draw the picture. We do not have to use a model every time. We could remember that exactly each whole is 3/3. Let that denominator help you out so that 2 of the 2 1/3 is equal to 3/3 plus 3/3, which is 6/3. Then we add the remaining 1/3 over here to it, and we get 7/3. All right, let's get ready to do some practicing. All right, so we need to we are going, for problems A through C, we are going to look at the shaded circles, all right, as an improper fraction and as a mixed number. So here we go. For my improper fraction, I could divide this into fourths because I know that this is divided into fourths. So I have 4 fourths here, then I have 5, 6, 7. 7 fourths is my improper fraction, correct? Now, to change that into a mixed number, I have 1 and 3/4, right? Because when I change it into a mixed number, I divide the 7 by 4. All right, and it goes in there once, and I have 3 left over. All right, so on B, I look at B, I have 1, 2, 3 and a half. So I know that my mixed number is 3 1/2, right? I need to divide each of these circles into half. I'm not going to say that I'm going to do that beautifully. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 halves, right? 7 halves. 7 halves, 3 1/2 is my mixed number. All right. Now, here we go. I have thirds, correct? I have 2 whole thirds and 2 thirds. So that's my next number. Or I have 3 thirds, 3 thirds. So I have 2 and 2 thirds as my mixed number. Now I need to divide this into thirds, correct? Terrible. It looks... Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 thirds is my improper fraction. All right, 8 thirds and 2 2/3 are the answer for C. All right, now, as I am going to change each of the mixed numbers into improper fractions, I'm going to show you how I do this a little bit differently too. Okay, so I know that I have 4 halves, right? Well, guess what? I am going to write this down here so it is larger. I have 4 whole halves, so I'm going to do, instead of drawing a model, I'm going to do 4 times 2 plus 1. So I'm going to do 4 times 2 plus 1, and I am going to get 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9, and I have 9 halves, correct? Now I could have drawn the model for that too and drawn 4 full circles, right? 4 full shaded in circles, and then 1 circle with half shaded in, correct? Then I could change my color. I could divide each of these in half, and I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 halves. But guess what? I do not necessarily need to go through all those steps, do I? I can do 4 times 2 plus 1. All right? I'm going to show you the next one. 1 2/3. So I have 1, 2 thirds. I am going to multiply my 3 times my 1, and I'm going to add my 2. All right, so 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 thirds will be my answer. Now guess what? I could draw the model, and you can do that for sure. Or you could take the steps of doing 3 times 1 plus 2. And you'll still have your 3, right? And that will equal 5 over 3. All right, our next problem, I am actually going to have to erase some of this, so we have some space to do the next 2. All right, our next problem is 2 3/4, correct? So I am going to multiply 2 times 4, because if I had 2 whole circles and I divided it into 4, I would have 2 times 4, which is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. And I would have 11/4. All right, 11/4. So I took my 2 times my 4 plus my 3. All right, and I got 11/4. Now, my last problem is 3 1/8. I can multiply 3 times 8 because I will have 3 full circles broken into eighths. So 3 times 8 is 24 plus 1 because I have one more eighth over there that would be shaded in, and that is 25 eighths. All right, so I did my 3 times my 8 plus my 1, and I have 25 eighths. All right, good luck. We can talk more about this later.